Well, thanks for coming to this session. We'll start with introductions and then we'll jump in. My name is Jessy Servi Ortiz. I'm the Managing Director of the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council. We are owned and operated by WMEP Manufacturing Solutions, so we are like a division of WMEP. WMEP does all our consulting work. What WSBC does is we're a membership organization and we help businesses with sustainability. We primarily do that through programs, and the consulting goes through WMEP. So we're here to talk about just sort of improving your business with sustainability. And I have a case study with us today. Patrick, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, Patrick Cain. I work for General Plastics. I'm the Vice President of Operations there, and we've been using the Green Masters program and working with the WSBC for probably 5 or 6 years, and we're a smaller organization on the north side of Milwaukee, and we've been able to take a small group of people and bring them together and get some big results with our sustainability programs with the assistance of Jessy and the, I'll say, sustainability community. One of the great advantages of even the Green Masters program is how they've brought all the companies together from different industries, markets, and how supportive all those companies have been to help each other out to improve their programs and assistance. So that's another benefit that you get from it, is a community of people that are really trying to help each other get better.
Awesome. So let's see, I don't have a clicker, so I'll stand up here. All right, so our mission is to advance sustainable principles and practices forward through the power of business. We do this through education. We have ongoing webinars and education series for businesses to learn what they need to learn about different topics in sustainability. We help by measuring and improving your sustainability outcomes. We do that primarily through our Green Masters program tools, which is what Patrick mentioned and what he'll be talking somewhat about. And then also, as he mentioned, we help facilitate connection. So we really help pair companies together that are working on similar challenges so that they can learn from one another. The primary way we do that is through our annual conference, which this year is November 15th and 16th at Lambeau in Green Bay. It's our 15th annual conference, so that's exciting. So we're here to talk about sustainability and how you can improve your business with sustainability. I like to share this because there's a lot of definitions for sustainability, and it's kind of a big word that means a lot of things to a lot of people. So this is the definition that we use. It really comes from the Conference Board, and it reads, sustainability is the pursuit of business growth strategy that creates long-term stakeholder value by seizing opportunities and managing risks related to the company's environmental and social impacts. Now, I underlined and bolded this word stakeholder because it's different than the word shareholder, which is the actual Conference Board's definition. But in our vision, we take a broader approach through stakeholders than just shareholders for a variety of reasons. One being not all companies we serve are publicly traded and may not have shareholders. And we really believe that sustainability with a holistic, systems-driven approach includes looking at all of your stakeholders. So this is how we define them. So there really are 5 stages to the sustainability journey. I'm just going to do a check because I'm not using the mic. Can you hear me in the back okay? Great, thank you. All right, so the first is pre-compliance, pretty straightforward, not doing anything. Compliance is your monitoring permits that you might need to have, just doing the bare minimum. The third is beyond compliance. So this is when a company creates like an environmental management system and they start taking a more systematic approach to their environmental metrics. Once we get beyond compliance, this is really when companies start to improve. And there's actually a huge range here between 3 and 4, right? Because sustainability really is a journey. And there's a lot of learning that happens along the way, which Patrick will share about. But it really, to be done right, needs to be an integrated part of a company's strategy. Otherwise, you end up having a lot of what we call random acts of environmentalism versus a strategic approach. And then also in the 5th stage is really embodying purpose and passion for the organization. And not all companies get to this stage, not all companies want to be at this stage, and that's okay. A great reference, if you're interested in this topic, is Gilbert Hedstrom has a book called What Sustainability Is and How to Measure It. This graph comes from that book. There's a C-suite board version that's an abbreviated version of that book, which I highly recommend. Essentially, his bell curve here, stage 1 is engaging. This is where the majority of companies are in today's market, right? You're engaging around the conversation of sustainability. You might have a department, you might have one person whose role is not sustainability, but it's something else, and they're tracking, measure, monitoring systems, and they're trying to move it forward as an organization. The second stage then is accelerating, which is really moving beyond just, engaging. And it's really when the CEO recognizes that there is value in organizing around sustainability and is starting to integrate that into business strategy and business systems. So in his, on the leading stage here, as you see, there's not a lot of companies in this position. The leading stage is really when you start transforming your portfolios to leverage sustainability as a business opportunity. And this can look a lot of different ways depending on your business type, what industry you're in, if you make a product, all of that. And finally, transforming on the stage 4 here. This is where, Unilevers of the world, Patagonias of the world, companies that are actually really trying to transform their industry or sector through sustainability. So this is a broad look at the journey of sustainability. So next we're going to talk about the business case for sustainability, and these are just a few high-level reasons why most of the companies we work with find value through sustainability. There is a strong focus on competitiveness. I think that's a lot of where people start on the journey because it makes logical sense to reduce costs, to look at efficiencies across your organization, and to start thinking about how you can innovate as a company to give you a competitive advantage over others that might be doing, your competitors. Workforce is another reason these days. We just heard about several of the workforce challenges manufacturers are facing. Sustainability isn't a silver bullet for the workforce issue. However, it really is a tool to allow companies to recruit, retain talent that really has and wants to have a purpose and passion in the workforce. I can tell you from personal experience, and because I've been working in the space for 15 years, that greenwashing someone in this stage doesn't work. The younger generation is pretty savvy to see through that pretty clearly. And so depending on the type of job that you're applying for, you may even be hearing questions about what are you doing in this space for sustainability, or what are your environmental policies or your social policies for your company. So stakeholders, this piece has to do with really looking at growth opportunities, having to look at, it's both, mitigating risks, growth opportunities, as well as it is enhancing your overall business performance and adding value to your stakeholder base, which also allows for a greater impact. Last on this list is customers. I can tell you that this is the #1 reason why people come to us for sustainability consulting, because their customers are requiring it or they're asking for it. So depending on what level you are, or size organization, there's a huge push around environmental, social, and governance, or ESG factors, in evaluating companies' performance, primarily companies that are publicly traded, right? And so that is beginning to trickle down to smaller to medium-sized manufacturers. Patrick will tell you his story of how they got started. It's sort of, exactly this reason, and that was maybe 7 years ago now. It also really enhances your brand, your reputation as a company. I'm going to skip over this. It's kind of just repeat of what we talked about. This is an interesting one, and this is from 2009. I tried to find more recent data to this, but this category, improving access to capital, is actually one of the areas that's increased quite a bit, especially with the ESG movement. So, sustainability has been around 30 years or so. I've been working in this field about 15 years. It used to be triple bottom line. Has anybody heard that term before? I think okay, so triple bottom line is people, planet, and profit. We have evolved in 2004 is when the term ESG became, sort of coined a term and started being introduced in financial markets. What this slide is really representing is that sustainability is no longer just environmental and social. A lot of people even just think it's environmental. Where we are today is very much, and where we're going is very much in this triangle that illustrates that each one of these are equal components, right? That you can't necessarily have one without having another. You don't always start by doing all of them. However, the governance and leadership component, as I'm sure you know in your business leadership, you don't get a lot done without that component. And as I mentioned in the beginning, if it's not integrated into your business systems, you're not going to get very far. And so, you don't always start there depending on where you're at on the journey, but strategy and execution is a really important piece of the sustainability puzzle these days. So what do we look for when we look for evaluating sustainability companies? We'll just touch on these briefly. The top one is a commitment. So if you're looking to do sustainability, one of the first places to start is thinking about how you can draft some sort of sustainability commitment statement that is relevant and provides a true north to the company. You might already have this. It may or may not include sustainability, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to. It's just saying that there is that North Star for the company. Excuse me. So metrics that matter. There's a term, materiality, sort of comes from the finance world. It is about paying attention to that which is the most important to your business. And so you want to measure what's the most important to your business. In sustainability, there's a lot of topics, right? So when we say metrics that matter, it's are you measuring, tracking, monitoring, improving, setting goals in the areas that are most material to your organization? Patrick will give some good examples of that as well. So we look for a code of ethics or a code of conduct, depending on the organization. These are just the things that become everybody's responsibility, is the way that you do business. We look for impacts and actions. These are the processes or the products and innovations that make your company sustainable, right? We heard from a packaging company, packaging is one of those areas where sustainability is kind of a hot topic because we're looking to make packaging more and more sustainable or reduce packaging. As a packaging company, you're creating material that's inevitably somewhat less sustainable. Are you walking the talk? This is sort of what we mean by this. And then dynamic engagement. This is really the hardest part of the whole puzzle. And it relates to more than just sustainability, but it also goes back to that sort of bell curve we looked at in the sustainability journey. When a company is really organizing itself through sustainability, and they can engage their workforce and their stakeholder groups in a really effective way, where there's a couple great examples that I could share of walking on a shop floor and somebody asking what the company's value are and that person knowing what it is, right? That's the communication, that's the engagement piece of the puzzle. I'm just going to referenced this. So another really important piece to adding value through sustainability is getting the CFO's involvement. If you have a CFO that can speak sustainability language, you will get a lot further, a lot faster. This report, which I have a copy of, if you want a copy of, you can grab my card, I can send it to you. It talks about driving capital productivity. And from my experience in all the manufacturers we've really worked with, you can do a lot, but you can only do so much without finance, right? Like, so weaving sustainability into part of your CapEx process is a really big step for a lot of companies. It's a really important step. And there's a lot of benefits to it. I also want to point you to another resource called the Sustainability ROI Workbook. So Bob Willard's a friend of ours. He's based out of Canada. He has a plethora of really wonderful tools that are all open source, so they're free, for you to go out and just start evaluating what some of the risks and opportunities are in different areas of your business around sustainability. And it gives you the ROI calculations, and you can play with percentages. It's a really simple, really straightforward tool. And this is, you can either Google Sustainability ROI Workbook, or this is Sustainability Advantage is his website. So I did mention this word materiality, and I just want to sort of, before I turn it over, just re-emphasize this. So we mentioned the Green Masters program. Our Green Masters program is a tool for businesses to help assess, monitor, and integrate systems across their business. And we are in the process of redeveloping this tool, and we're adding a materiality assessment to it because we believe it's so important. It's more important for small to medium manufacturers than it is really large because, well, for a lot of reasons. But the key is that if you're starting to embark on your sustainability journey, you really want to pay attention to that which is most significant to your employees, that aligns with your business values, that is integrated with and connected to what you're already doing as a business, right? And so this key concept of materiality really helps you identify that. So it helps you focus and it helps you prioritize in sort of this larger universe of sustainability topics. I'll just pause and see if anybody has any questions before I hand it over. All right.
So we're a smaller company. We have about 85 employees. We're right now about 14 million in sales, 93,000 square foot facility. 7 years ago, we kind of were pushed into this process. One of our customers said, if you want to be part of our supply chain, we're consolidating suppliers, you need to become ISO 14001 certified, which is the environmental standard. And again, we didn't have any environmental experts. It was just a group of people that did some random acts of sustainability throughout the shop. We put a recycle bin in, we do double-sided printing, and never really had a process. It was just kind of, this is a good thing to do, it's the right thing to do. So as we had this customer that pushed us in to getting our certification, we started pulling together information and meeting with people and kind of defining a roadmap, so to speak. And through that roadmap, we defined our significant aspects, really what impacts our business the most environmentally. And for us, we found electricity. You know, we're a thermal former, we use a lot of electricity, our ovens are all electric, and raw material, and the things that we're throwing away, putting in the dumpster, as well as just shipments and supply. So we took these significant aspects and we had to, as part of that program, develop action plans around how do we get better and define our process. And as we started digging into it, a lot of the things that we were doing in our strategic plan and our growth plan and all the stuff we were doing, it really tied back to sustainability. because as we became more efficient, as we reduced the number of touches out on the shop floor, as we streamlined the flow, we did the spaghetti diagrams and all the things to make sure that the product's not handled, more than it needed to be. We did all these things, and we started moving machines around and other improvement projects. All of the sustainability initiatives really aligned with our company mission, vision, our growth, and our strategic plan. We did a lot of recycling at first, like what are we throwing away? A lot of things we were throwing away with our plastics, things that we didn't have a source for. All those things that we pulled out of the dumpster, we were getting paid for now. I have some specific numbers, but all these things that we were digging into and peeling back and looking at, we found that one, we get paid for it. One, it was waste anyways, as far as efficiencies and productivity. And we just kept going over the last 7 years and breaking it up into, manageable pieces. And as Jessy stated, the Green Masters program was another tool, and then the community of people that we kept learning, best practices and new ideas, and how do we do that, and some of the terminology. And slowly our EMS team, what we developed was 3 people. We started becoming the in-house experts, and we've come a long way over the last 7 years as far as just by doing little things, having a plan and executing. So, every year we fill out our Green Masters application, and we go through the 9 elements, and it's evolved over the years to include social governance and other aspects of things that we need to do as being a culturally responsive company, and also building our workforce and continuing to find new ways to engage people. So sustainability is not going to get everybody excited, but if I can get a small group of people excited about sustainability and that's what they're passionate about, at least I can engage this group. You might have other people that are involved more in safety, but if you have enough of these programs and things that people are interested in and want to get involved with, it draws them into your organization, and it makes it a place that they want to be, and it gives them a little bit more purpose of why they're there and how they're making an impact. So we try to take 3 to 5 things each year. Again, we're not a huge organization, but how do we break it up into manageable pieces and just keep moving forward? And then annually, when we do our strategic plan, one of the things with our projects, how is this new machine, how is this project going to, one, make things more safe? How is it going to impact the environment? And really, how is it going to make us more efficient as we grow as a business? So, and then one of my philosophies is just keep it simple. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the tools that we developed, is we take the different pieces. Electricity consumption is a percentage of our cost, water in gallons, gas, BTUs, all of the things that we were recycling or reusing, a lot of which we're putting into landfills. We're less than 8% going to landfill. And again, we break it up into major categories, and all of these items, and I have some of the stuff broken down, but 65, we reduce our landfill by 65%, and it's all broken up into these various different categories, and now we're getting paid for that, as well as working with our customers in reusable packaging, trying to reduce the packaging supplies, trying to improve truckload, how much we're getting on a truck, so we're reducing the freight. All of these things, when we're working with our customers, have a savings to them, it has a savings to us, but it also creates a better working relationship. We typically get customer audits. We have a lot of customers that tend to come to our facility and do quality audits. The last 2 years it's been a little bit less, but customers are coming back out. And one of the things that I did notice when we would talk about quality, we would talk about safety, we do a plant tour, but when we talked about the impacts and the things that we did in environmental and sustainability, you'd see them lean in. And some of these are billion-dollar, organizations that are really leaning in. And we've had several of them say, all right, we want to bring in some of our, higher level executive team to come to your facility and see what you've done and how you've accomplished your goals. And we've worked with several of our customers as well to improve their sustainability initiatives. And again, creates a situation where what do we add to their business or what do we bring to the table, as well as, again, 8% waste to landfill, less than that, 65%. Materials we're saving, making things more ergonomic, incorporating the safety part of it, working with customers on the packaging and shipping costs, we've reduced our electricity costs by 9% over the previous year, but throughout the years we've been continuing to reduce our electricity costs, which is a significant aspect. And we've improved our OEE, our overall equipment efficiency, by 33%. We've doubled our dollars per labor hour, created a lot of cellular production flow, improved our oven zoning. Again, we heat up plastic sheets and form them, and compressed air. Compressed air is very expensive, so you definitely don't want those leaks throughout your shop. And all of these things, and the employees start coming up with ideas. They start hearing things. We give them recognition. One of our programs that we do is a red ticket program. So anybody that comes up with an idea, anybody that comes up with like a problem-solving type event, they get a red ticket. We do a drawing every month, and they can win money and prizes. And through that program, we get a lot of ideas, and we try to encourage more, better behaviors. This is just something that we put together as a one-page document, just to get the employees to understand how they're impacted by the environmental system, what our significant aspects are, what our instructions are, or the important instructions for sustainability, our EMS goals, consequences of not doing it, benefits of doing it, as well as what their responsibilities are. Try to keep that to one page so they can quickly, see that, understand, what their responsibilities are and what the critical, aspects of our environmental program are. So.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Is there any questions that I went over?
Looks like I have this slide in here. So, I'm curious about that kind of quiet, where you're at in your sustainability journey. So I'm just going to ask maybe a few questions. You can just raise your hand if you have no sustainability systems in your business, or you're at the very, very, very beginning. Okay. A couple of you, great. And then if you feel like you're maybe somewhere in the camp of we do random acts of sustainability, right? We might have a few people, we might have implemented a few projects, but there's no real strategic level approach to sustainability. Okay. And then any of you just rocking it out there in sustainability?
Well, our corporate headquarters are.
Okay.
It's a huge ESG effort.
Okay. But so you're okay. So trickling down to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Well, that's just really helpful. Like I said in the very beginning, this is a journey, and I have a bit of a biased opinion about it, just because I work with so many people on understanding and helping them gain value through sustainability. And it is a large and complex topic, so it does require, some level of expertise. But one of my key messages I want you all to leave with, especially if you're in the beginning, is it's not as hard as it seems, right? Carbon footprint is one example of a place where people just get really hung up. And if you're already, most businesses, if you have good business systems in place, you're tracking data, you're rolling data up and sharing out reports to senior leadership. just by tracking your energy, waste, water, if those are material to your organization, and integrating those into those dashboards, you can start to see trends, right? And then you start to equate that to dollars, and you start to see, oh, well, maybe we could be more efficient in this area. And then again, as Patrick's saying, like, your best resource is your employees. I know, Sustain Group, we're touring them. They're a paper converter up in De Pere. One of the stories they said to me is that they did a webinar with us, and they were saying how one of their employees had this brilliant idea of taking water out of their process, and they were like, let's try it. They tried it, and were able to save a lot of money on water processing and cleaning, and it added a ton of value to their process. So it was a cost savings, then they get recognition for it, and we're moving towards a circular model at this point. So there are a lot of benefits. This slide I like to share sometimes because sustainability is about change. We're not always comfortable with change. We've been dealing with a lot of change in the last couple of years, right? And so maybe we're a little burnt out on it. But this really just goes to show you that without having a strong vision, nobody has a direction, right? Without the skills needed, without the vision, there's confusion. Without the skills needed, a lot of people, there's a lot of just confusion. Without having incentives or a reason really to do it, you often are met with resistance. Without resources, you get a lot of frustration. And without an action plan, you get false starts. So I view sustainability as systems. It's systems thinking, and when you're managing change, it's what a lot of sustainability professionals are good at. Influencing and managing change, I say, are the top two skill sets we need as professionals. This is a recipe for success. I think that's all we had today. This is my contact information if you want to reach out to me. As I said, we're a member organization, so our member fees are very cost effective. They go from $250 a year up depending on the size of your company. You get access to our member portal and the network and the education. So if you're looking to just get started, it's a great resource for getting started. As I mentioned, our conference is in November this year. We host annual business awards. We're doing our reception on the 15th in Titletown at Myron Construction, and then the conference will be the 16th. There just so happens to be a Packer game on the 17th. If you're into that and you want to make it a whole thing, it's really business to business conference. So businesses like this sharing their stories about different facets of sustainability. So we'll be talking about supply chain, we'll be talking about greenhouse gas, energy management, getting started, getting buy-in, getting support, lots of topics. So we invite you to join us there. And if you have any questions or want to stay, you can come and ask us questions afterwards. Otherwise, thanks for being here.